So now my hand is all bloody. This is the continuation video. So now my hand is all bloody. Cause I had cut my hands from holding on and then just sliding off, and they had nothing but rocks on the ground. And so I slid, my ribs hurt. I think I cracked my ribs. My knee hurt. My back is feeling like not dislocated, but it's feeling funny now. I probably moved the disc or something. So my back started feeling funny. And then so pretty much, and there was a dude that was working, that was watching the whole thing, which I'm probably thinking now he was probably the mob anyway. They was trying to set me the whole time, probably. So so now they acting like two people from LA, plus they got their whole little crew going pretty much. I think it was about 4 of them that was following me the most. And they even did little scenes where they would let me hear what was going on supposedly. I remember I was walking the train tracks before I fucked my ribs and all that up. I was walking the train tracks and there was a lady right there, and then she saw me walking by. I thought she was just homeless. I wasn't thinking nothing of it. I kept walking, but now I know she was just in disguise. But I kept walking, whatnot, and then I hear her from a distance saying, I didn't tell him to take the train or something like that, or I didn't tell him, I didn't snitch or something like that. And then all you hear is a roller, some shit like that. And then which was a trip for me back then, because I thought all this shit was real. So but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that shit funny. And I hear a roller, and then you hear a clap or something. You hear a snap, a pop, and I'm like, they using like a little deuce or something, the way it sounded. And then so I thought they killed her or whatnot. And then I'm hearing from the residents, they said a few minutes later she got up and walked away. So I'm like, yeah, they playing with my head type, like, yeah, they playing with my head, because they said she got up and walked away. They was like, she not dead, she got up and walked away. So that's why I'm grateful for the residents out there, because they was keeping that shit 100. Like, whenever they was falsifying shit and they seen it, certain residents, they kept that shit 100. They like, hell no, like, this is what really happened. Like, that man got up and walked away. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so now I'm standing by the bus. I'm still trying to catch more buses. I mean, not buses, but trains. I'm trying to hop on the train, and I can't hop on no train. Every train wouldn't let me get on. They knew who I was. They knew I was trying to get away. They was all doing me bad. All the train people, they wouldn't let me get on no train. And if I did hop on the train, they would stop the whole train. And it's like, I don't know how they knew I got on. At that time, I didn't know how they got on, because I got on probably a mile or a quarter mile down from, they couldn't even see me if I had got on, but somehow they stopped in the train way up there because I got on the train. So now I know that they had the connection going back then, and that's how they knew I hopped on. They didn't want me to get away. So that's all that was. So trying to think, I'm just going off of shit I remember. Supposedly something with number 9 happened, and supposedly they killed him too. And then I heard the same thing. They said little man got up and ran away. And that's when I got the idea he must be little, because they said the same shit. They called when he first started chasing me around, they yeah, that's another area actually. That's another area, so I'll wait to get into that. But yeah, they said little man got up and ran away. So I'm like, yes, he must be little. So so yeah, that was that. I had this little dialogue, and this is when I started thinking, I'm like, is this shit fake or what? Because I had this little dialogue with the LA dude or whatnot, or it was supposed to be dialogue. Somebody was just whispering shit. And I remember some of the residents saying, this shit fake as fuck. They out there acting or some shit like that. And then I'm thinking in my head, it's not no act, like it's for real. I don't know what they on, but I know I'm taking it serious. That's the same group of people. They like, yeah, they're pretty much saying it was an act. So I still kept my distance from them, even though I started to think to myself, these might be actors. I still kept my distance because you'll never want to get too comfortable to those type of people. They playing these kind of games. I suffered real injuries and everything, and they still talking about it's an act and all that. And I'm looking like, where's this an act? My hand is broken. I just re-broke it. My hand is bleeding now. I'm suffering from real injuries. This ain't no show. This ain't no act. My back is hurting. I just hit my head not too long ago. Like, this ain't no act. Yeah, I remember that. I was just trying to get out the area. So then, when I noticed that one of the nights just continued like that pretty much. And then it was one night where, okay, before I even get into that, before I left that area, I guess it was a police officer, because I was going down the street and I was walking and talking to the residents like normal. I was vibing with them, to be honest. Like, we were just vibing. They was asking me about singing, when I start singing, like shit like that. And we were just vibing. Like, it wasn't nothing bad. I'm just walking down the street answering their questions. And they asked me other questions and shit, like sexual questions and stuff like that. And I guess that's where all that stuff started. And they asked me stuff like that. And yeah, so, and even this couple said that it's hard to hate him because he'll just agree with you. And he's showing that he's a humble dude, pretty much to those lines. They didn't say exactly that, but it was pretty much like, it's hard to hate him because the way I take it is like constructive criticism. If you say something and it makes sense to me, I'm gonna agree with it. I might agree with it because I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I could fix that. But if you just saying something and it just makes no sense or it just sound dumb, I'm just like, I can't agree with that. And yeah, I can't agree. But yeah, they said it makes it hard to even hate him because he agree with you. So I told them, I don't know if they heard me, but I said I appreciate that. And likewise, pretty much, like, that's how I work. I do the reciprocal. Whatever you show me love, I'm gonna show you love back. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no hating bone in my body. I don't hate on nobody. I never had the desire to sit there and want to hate on somebody. If I follow you, I'm not following you because I hate you or I want to hate on you. Everybody know I don't show nothing but love. If I don't follow you, it's probably because I haven't found you yet, or I'm not gonna sit there and take my time to hate on you. Like, why would I follow somebody just to hate on them? Like, it don't make no sense. I keep my mind in the right direction, in the positive direction. So that's just how I move, man. I always move like that. I ain't gonna be hating on nobody. That's just how I am. So back to my story. I ran into this. I'm walking down the street and I'm talking to residents as normal, and they said whoever it was, cause they were. I don't think they were saying mob back then, or I don't know if they were saying mob back then, but whoever it was, they but whoever it was, they were saying they mad and they wanna roll you pretty much, and I think they was trying to say it was the dudes from LA or whatever. So I'm walking down the street, police pull up on me, and he asked me. I was just walking down the street, and I wasn't doing nothing wrong, nothing, and he just pulled up on me, and he asked me if I was doing all right. Cause I guess in that area it was like strange just to see somebody walking up the road like that. Like I don't know, it probably just looked strange. Cause it was like I guess it was more country like. I'm not sure, but so he asked me if I needed help. I'm like, man, I was like, I'm good and all that. He's like, you sure? I can take you up down the road. So I started thinking, I'm like, whoever is after me is after me. So I might as well get this ride up the road and let that be that. So I took the, he searched my ID and all that. And I was cool with it. And cause I knew I had no warrants on me or nothing like that. And then he took me, he asked me what I was doing, and I told him my story and how I was homeless and everything, just walking around the area and everything and like that. And so what he did was he took it upon, and I really appreciate that, man. People showing love like that. That was big. But and this is where they got that I was an informant or that I was working with the police and all that from. Because that cop showed love, and I appreciate that. He was like showing real love. Like he didn't spit in my food or nothing like that because he bought it straight from McDonald's. He gave it right to me. Right, he didn't even open the bag. He was like, "What you want?" So pretty much what happened was he asked me if I was hungry. I said, "Yeah, I'm hungry." He said, "All right, get in the squad car, and I'm gonna take you to go get something to eat." I got in the back of the squad car, no cuffs on, nothing. He didn't even have to cuff me up. So I sat in the back. We went to McDonald's. He got me 2 McMuffins, a hash brown, and something to drink. So then from there, he asked me if I had any clothes and stuff like that. I'm like, just the clothes on my back, pretty much. And so he took me to this place. He went and got me some toothpaste, some mouthwash, some wipes for my ass and in my area, my private part, some more underwear, some undershirts, a t-shirt to go over, some shorts, some socks. Yeah, he got me all that. So he got me all that in the bag and whatnot. So now I'm like, dang, I was like, cause back then I wasn't washing myself or nothing. I was just smelling. So now I'm like, I could wash myself up in a bathroom somewhere now and start to clean up. I got clean clothes right here. I can clean up. I guess the mob, they got mad or whatever, and then they started saying that the dude from LA was after me again. They said he come to kill you because you got help from the police. So here we go. I'm on the run again. I'm trying to eat my food at the same time because now people telling me, he said, don't you eat another drop of that food, some shit like that. They said, don't you eat another bite and all that. I'm like, fuck that, I'm about to eat, man. So I ate one of the McMuffins. I ate one of them, and I ate the hash brown or half the hash brown, something like that. I didn't finish my food because I was too busy trying to run. And then I went to the bathroom because I had to use it in this one building. And then I hid the new clothes that I had got behind these bushes. And I guess since the mob was in the area, they was watching me the whole time, so they knew where I put my stuff. And then I went and hid myself. I hid, and I came back to the area where I left the stuff, and everything was gone. So they took all my hygiene stuff, all my clean stuff, So now once again, they had that officer spend his money just for it to be stolen. Um, so so now I'm just like fuck once again, and I'm hearing the residents, they like that's fucked up. They doing him dirty and all that, and uh, so man, I'm just feeling like defeated, like I don't know what the fuck, man, and so I think either it was that night or a couple nights later, I'm just like I'm about to just leave the area. Cause these people, they won't leave me alone. Like no matter what, I'm getting love, but at the same time, these people just chasing me around. They talking about dude chasing me around with a K. So I'm like, you mean to tell me that this dude just walking around with a K and nobody saying nothing, and he just walking around with a K, and that's what it seemed like at the time, cause that's what they was rasping. So they yeah, that was that. And I think if it wasn't that night, I left a couple nights later, where I'm just like, fuck it, I'm about to just walk out of the city. So they start coming up with these rules like if the mob don't get you by this time, then the mob goes, right? The time will come. They're like, oh, if the mob don't get you by 12 o'clock, then the mob goes, right? So this was during the day at the time. I end up hopping on the train. I hopped on the train, but I saw the same group get on the train from down the way. I saw them get on the train, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just get on on a later cargo, and just sit on the train like that. And so the train is going or whatnot, and then I hop on the train, and then the train stopped. I get off the train, then the train goes. So I'm like, how does the train even know that I was on there? Like, I got on way back here, like there's no way you could see me. But yeah, it stopped, and then as soon as I get off, it goes. So I'm like, that's some bullshit. So like, I throw my little temper tantrum, and I threw a plastic bag on the train tracks with a Gatorade bottle in there, and then they got mad or whatnot, and I'm venting to myself and some shit, not even knowing there was somebody in the bush. And then now they're like, oh, he was talking to the person in the bush and all this and something like that, and they're like, oh, I don't know what they was trying to what the narrative was at the time, but they were saying something about me talking to the person in the bush, like I knew what was going on type. I don't know, something. I don't know what the narrative was. So yeah, that was that time. And then so now everybody talking about or not everybody, but people talking about you gotta roll or some shit, and then other people start getting involved, and now I'm seeing all these cars. It's nighttime at this time, and I'm seeing all these cars riding down the street, people stopping, looking at me and stuff like that. And I remember this one dude, he was coming up the street, he pointed, like, I didn't know what he was saying, but now I know what he was saying. He was like, they over there. And so that was that. And then I was just like, instead of waiting for a train to come, I'm just gonna walk. I'm gonna walk the whole shit. Like, I'm just getting so tired that I'm willing to walk through the wilderness type to get away. So I started walking down the same direction I knew the train was coming down. And I kind of lost a lot of people that was in the city, but you could tell they was looking for me because I was in a deserted country part of town, but yet there was still cars roaming around the area, people riding around the area. I could still hear the voices around the area and everything. I was trying to hide under the stairs, but I can see them, not see them, I can hear them watching me. And so got up, started moving around, and then I guess it was one of number 9 people or something was like, oh, you fucking with my cousin or something like that? He's like, oh, hell nah. He was like, that nigga gonna get the case, some shit he said. I don't know what he said. And then so I'm just like, damn, like now it's more people after me, like fuck, I can't catch a break. So I started going down that road. Anyway, it's dark, it's nighttime, everything. And then this where they got the dude Ken. He coming after me. He had his howl too, like his battle cry. It was similar to the Woo, but he had his battle. It was like similar but different at the same time. I can hear the difference in it, type like. And so I'm going down the road, and then I end up going down these residentials, and I could hear number 9 and them looking for me, because I'm mostly hearing him. And so I'm jumping over bushes and stuff. My foot got caught on the vine, and then I had to get my foot out the vine and all that, and stepped in mud, all that, and I was going down the track some more. The more I was going down that location, the more it was like more empty area, and it was like more country the more you go down. And I ended up turning into residentials, and I'm seeing the cars drive by and all that. So at this point, I'm trying to stay clear at the same time. So what I started doing is I started going in people's backyards and stuff like that. And what I found out is that those people was actually being cool as hell, because I'll mention that too. But they was being cool as hell. Nobody was saying nothing about me going in their backyard, because I was going in hella backyards and trying to get away. Every backyard that I went to, they ended up, number 9 and his cousin or somebody, they ended up close by me, because I kept hearing number 9 voice, and or very faintly the other voice. And so I'll take another backyard. So now I'm going back and forth. They felt like me and the dude Ken, or this was part of the narrative, that me and Ken was homies or something like that. And so they was like, we gonna shoot him too. And I remember walking down the street, and they like, oh, they got Ken. They shot him in the legs and all this, and he on the ground with his leg shot and shit. I'm like, fuck. I'm next. like thinking like, And they said they didn't roll him out though, cause he was still mobbed. You feel me? They said they just jumped him type. They shot him in the legs and then jumped him, but he's still alive, clinging for his life type. Like, and but I didn't think to myself. I didn't hear no gunshots. I didn't think that to myself. If he was so nearby, why I didn't hear the shots, especially coming from a baby K. Those got like a loud boom to it. So I was thinking to myself, like, why I didn't hear no gunshots? I mean, I wasn't thinking, but I'm thinking now, why I didn't hear no gunshots. So I'm trying to get away and whatnot. I'm going through hella backyards, back and forth, because I'll go through one backyard, and then I'll see a car pull up with the lights on, and it's just sitting there. I'm like, well, I ain't finna go in front of the car, so let me just go back and go to another backyard. So I'm going backyard to backyard, the same backyards. And then I hear this lady say, oh, I see why they don't like him. He always getting away type. So I end up taking this one backyard, and I'm just like, I hear number 9 at the house next door, or it was a house nearby, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm about to just run through here and just run as fast as I can through this backyard, and hopefully I make it. So I ran through the backyard, boom, jump over the little fence, through the bushes. I'm running, and then I look to my left, look to my right. I didn't see nobody. I look in front of me, I see the train tracks. I started taking the train tracks. I hear them talking about he went over there. I started running again. So I ran, and then when I didn't hear nobody running after me, or I didn't hear no voices or nothing, or just nothing, period, I stopped running. I was looking around the area. I didn't see nothing, so I just started walking the train tracks. I'm walking the train tracks, and somewhere in the middle of the train tracks, here they come talking about he in this area, and I hear number 9 again, like, should we step in the water? And he like, yeah, step in the water. So I guess they were stepping in water and shit, getting their feet wet and shit. And so I'm like, damn, that's what they get. Type, like, Shit, I'm over here hurting in pain, gotta run. And so took the train tracks. I took the train tracks all the way to another location. I end up at this other location. I think it was like an area that led right back to Kansas type. Like, I'm not sure, but I think it was another area that led right back to Kansas. And then let's see, I had to hop this fence because I went to one area. They were still following me. I could hear their voices all in the cut. So I went back to where I came from, and then it was this barbed wire, and I got so desperate. I'm like, I'm finna fucking jump the barbed wire. So I jumped up. I took the fence and I jumped the barbed wire. I'm like, fuck it. And so I did that, thinking that they wasn't gonna do it. I think they did, cause I was still hearing them close by, even though I was in that area. So I'm like, now I gotta jump over the next part of barbed wire to now I gotta get back over. So I went to the back of the business and I jumped back over, and then yeah, I kept walking, and I ended up walking because I couldn't hear them no more. I heard them say, let's go get the other dude. Let's tell him what's going on. So now I hear number 9 playing the hill. He like, yeah, man, he said this, he said that, and this and that. And I'm like, he over there acting sweet now, telling them about what I said and all this type. And so now I took the train, the tracks back. I got back on the tracks and I took another direction on the tracks. And I'm walking down the tracks, and I end up walking the whole morning. I was tired. By this time, going through this whole fiasco, from morning all the way to night, I was walking, feet bleeding. Yeah, that was that. So it's morning time. I think I still had my cast on at that time. And this is when I noticed, I knew for sure it was people in the bushes now. I had my cast on and I went to go to sleep on the side of the tracks, and I'm hearing voices everywhere. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, it's people over here. They hiding in the bushes. And I'm about to go to sleep, and and I hear somebody say, wait till you go to sleep. And I'm like, I said something to myself, and I'm thinking to myself, how can they hear me? And then I hear somebody saying, he got a microphone in his cast. In his splint. So now I'm like, instead of, I'm thinking to myself, they didn't wire my splint when I was at the hospital. So those was hints back then. Those was hints that it was coming from the hospital, even back then. So I got up and I went to another area that was like down the street from there, and I took a rest break behind the bushes. Well, it was like an hour and a half, something like that, rest break. And I got up and I heard somebody say, dang, right before we was gonna do it, he always gets up. And so I'm just like, all right, yeah, there's people after me. So I took my splint off, not knowing now, they just wanted me to take my splint off. It wasn't no mic inside of the splint. They just wanted me to take it off the brace. And so I took it off and I left it behind the bushes. And I'm walking into a whole another area. It took hours. It took me a long time to get to that area. Like, I'm walking, and then I remember somebody in the bushes, as I was walking, they was talking to me, and they asked me, I was like, how many of us do you think there are? And I answered, I thought I was like about 22, because I kept hearing a lot of voices. And so I'm like 22, and then she replied, she said, he knows it's 22 of us. And then something like that, it's really 25 or something like that. And so now I know people following me. I know for sure because I heard that shit. So I'm walking, and I get back on the well, not exactly on the train rails, but I'm walking in that direction toward where the train was. And now I just know people are following me because now I'm hearing twigs break and everything as I'm walking, and I hear them talking to each other like, "Shh, he hear you, like he heard you." And this is where I start to smell the smells and everything, and I smelled the smell, and then I remember somebody saying, "Of course I'm gonna smell like that. I didn't take a shower." And I knew it was a girl because I know girls smell like. You smell it, you know a girl smell when you smell it. And to me it just smelled like panties, like I don't know, like moist panties or something. Or like, yeah, like you ain't showered, I don't know. And so I'm walking, a couple hours into it, and I end up at this one location. And I started laying down. It's like all the way in the country. And then I'm laying down, and I heard this lady screaming, "He's laying down, kill him," or something. Call the police, all kind of shit. Like, she was just yelling. And I'm so